The past month was packed with uplifting moments around the globe. In this edition of our monthly dose of good news, we're bringing you 10 of the most inspiring highlights across a variety of topics. Whether you're into saving endangered species or learning how modern technology is reshaping the world, we've got you covered. From pink pigeons making a remarkable comeback to AI stepping in to aid our battle against cancer, it's time to sit back and enjoy the show. First stop, the Amazon. Hey, I'm your host Regis, and I have some wonderful news for you from the rainforests of Brazil. For years, the Amazon rainforest has faced significant challenges: illegal logging, fires, and deforestation threatening one of the Earth's most precious ecosystems. But lately, that seems to be changing. Deforestation in Brazil's Amazon has dropped by a remarkable 31% in the past year, the lowest level in nearly a decade. That's a reduction of almost 7,000 square kilometers, an area about the size of the Everglades National Park in Florida. This turnaround is largely thanks to Brazil's renewed focus on environmental protection, with the administration cracking down on illegal logging, bolstering environmental agencies, and strengthening surveillance using advanced satellite monitoring systems. And the success isn't limited to the Amazon alone. Brazil's Cerrado, a unique savanna also known for its biodiversity, also saw a 26% decrease in deforestation, its first decline in 5 years. These efforts aren't just saving trees. They're protecting vital habitats for thousands of species and protecting important carbon stores that help to mitigate climate change. While Brazil is successfully tackling deforestation, we head over to the United Kingdom, where one man's love of birds gave a vibrant pink species a new lease on life. In a heartwarming win for the conservation movement, Paignton Zoo in England has successfully hand-reared a rare pink pigeon for the very first time. These beautiful birds, native to Mauritius, were once teetering on the brink of extinction, with only 9 left in the wild back in 1991. The hero of this story is birdkeeper Tom Tooley, who has dedicated over 27 years to saving endangered species. He developed an innovative feeding technique using a catheter and syringe to gently feed baby birds, or squabs, in a natural, stress-free way. His method is now being taught worldwide, helping other conservationists save more endangered species. Now, thanks to efforts like Tom's, the global population of pink pigeons has climbed to around 500, lifting them off of the critical endangered list to vulnerable. And it's not just the pink pigeons making headlines at the zoo this year. They've also celebrated the birth of flamingo chicks and a fledgling of a Sakuro dove, a species extinct in the wild. If you ask me, there is nothing cuter than baby birds hatching. But it's not just birds making a comeback. Here's the remarkable story of a snail species that was once declared fully extinct in the wild. For the first time in 40 years, Polynesian tree snails, Partula tohiveana, are breeding in the wild on the French Polynesian island of Moorea. These snails, once thought to be extinct in their natural habitat, have made a triumphant return thanks to a global conservation effort that lasted 40 years. The journey to this milestone began in the 1980s, when the invasive rosy wolf snail, introduced to control another pest, nearly wiped out the native Partula snails. In response, zoos across the globe initiated a captive breeding program to preserve and eventually reintroduce the species to the wild. Over the last decade, more than 30,000 snails have been released back into their natural habitat, meticulously marked with UV reflective paint to monitor their survival and reproduction. This year, the discovery of unmarked adult snails, proof of wild breeding, has validated decades of dedicated work. The Partula snails play a vital role in forest health by consuming decaying plant matter and fungi, but it goes beyond biology, because their return restores a part of Polynesian cultural heritage, as their shells have historically symbolized the identity of each island. As we celebrate the remarkable recovery of these endangered species, there's also new hope on the horizon for those battling aggressive types of breast cancer, thanks to a new vaccine showing life-changing potential. Aggressive breast cancers are notoriously difficult to treat, often leaving patients with few options and a high risk of recurrence. But dedicated researchers at Washington University School of Medicine have developed a promising new vaccine that offers some hope. This experimental vaccine targets genetic mutations unique to triple-negative breast cancer. These cancer cells don't have estrogen or progesterone receptors, and they struggle with producing a protein called HER2. These factors make the cancer grow and spread faster with few treatment options. That's where the new vaccine steps in. It trains the immune system to recognize and attack cancer cells while leaving healthy tissue unharmed. A small clinical trial with 18 participants showed remarkable results. 16 patients remained cancer-free 3 years after receiving the vaccine, compared to just half of patients treated with standard methods alone. While larger trials are needed to confirm its effectiveness, the vaccine has demonstrated the potential to revolutionize treatment for a cancer type that, until this moment, had no targeted therapies. This is amazing news, but it's not the only recent development in cancer treatment. An AI-powered innovation is rapidly changing the way that surgeons battle deadly brain tumors. A critical challenge for all brain cancer surgeries is removing all tumor tissue without damaging healthy brain cells. If cancerous tissue is left behind after surgery, it poses a significant risk of recurrence and reduces survival rates. But an AI tool called Fast Glioma just gave neurosurgeons a huge advantage. Developed through a collaboration between the University of Michigan and the University of California, Fast Glioma can detect tumor infiltration in just 10 seconds during surgery with 92% accuracy. It significantly outperforms traditional methods like fluorescent-guided techniques, which miss critical tumor tissues a quarter of the time. In comparison, Fast Glioma's error rate is just 3.8%. Unlike conventional techniques that require complex imaging equipment or chemical agents, Fast Glioma uses label-free optical microscopy and AI-powered analysis. By training on over 4 million high-resolution tissue images, the system can analyze fresh surgical samples and give real-time feedback, enabling surgeons to achieve more precise tumor removal. Fast Glioma reduces the likelihood of cancer recurrence, improves survival rates, and streamlines surgical workflows. Researchers are currently exploring its potential applications for lung, breast, and prostate cancers, hoping to replicate its success. And speaking of novel technologies, China has just flipped the switch on a massive 3-gigawatt solar farm in the Gobi Desert. Once a coal mining site, this land has been transformed into the Mengqi Blue Ocean Photovoltaic Power Station, a project that combines renewable energy, environmental restoration, and even agriculture. This solar farm is no small feat, boasting over 5.9 million solar panels spread across 7,000 hectares. It generates 5.7 billion kilowatt hours of electricity annually. That's enough to power 2 million households. But the real magic is that it replaces the need for millions of tons of coal each year and prevents about 4.7 million tons of carbon dioxide emissions. What's even cooler is how this project goes beyond just energy production. Thanks to innovative designs that maximize space, there's a thriving ecosystem beneath the solar panels where sheep can graze and crops can grow. It's a testing ground for renewable energy in harsh environments, showing how technology can thrive even in the challenging Gobi Desert climate. As part of China's broader push for carbon neutrality by 2060, Mengqi Blue Ocean is a shining example of how to build a cleaner, greener future. But that's not the only green energy project coming out of China that's pushing the boundaries of what's possible. Recently, the country officially connected its first units of its massive 1-gigawatt offshore solar farm to the grid. This monumental project, located off the coast of Dongying City in Shandong province, is set to transform both renewable energy generation and marine space utilization. The gigantic solar farm spans over 1,200 hectares of ocean and uses nearly 3,000 floating solar platforms anchored to the seafloor. This ambitious setup can generate 1.8 billion kilowatt hours of electricity annually. Even more remarkably, the installation will also act as a fish farm, maximizing the use of marine space in a truly innovative way. Experts claim that the shade from solar panels promotes a healthier aquatic environment and creates habitats for fish and other species. But most importantly, this farm alone is expected to reduce carbon emissions by over 1.3 million tons per year, which will be a huge step towards China becoming carbon neutral. Now, before we continue, we'd love to hear what you think about China's stride toward a greener future, as well as the other topics that we've discussed today. Your support honestly makes all the difference, so if you haven't yet, we'd appreciate if you'd consider subscribing to Good News. Okay, now we're gonna switch gears and go in reverse, because even though technology is helping us to build a brighter future, it's also playing a crucial role in uncovering secrets from our past. In the dense forests of Campeche, Mexico, archaeologists have discovered a gem seemingly lost in the winds of time, a lost city of the Mayan people. Instead of painstakingly chopping through the jungle with machetes, they used a technology called LiDAR, or light detection and ranging. LiDAR uses lasers to map the ground beneath thick tree cover, and it's been used in archaeology since the 1970s. However, it wasn't actually archaeologists who made this discovery. A different group of researchers, originally surveying carbon levels in the forest, stumbled upon the remnants of a sprawling ancient metropolis. Spanning roughly 50 square miles, this city, now called Valeriana, boasted awe-inspiring pyramids, expansive plazas, and sophisticated reservoirs. Believed to date back to around 150 BC, Valeriana was a thriving center during the Classic period, reaching its peak between 250 and 900 AD. Even more remarkable, this lost city is so close to modern settlements, with some structures practically hidden in plain sight, just a stone's throw away from a farming town and the area's only highway. This discovery is just one example of how technology can reveal the secrets of the past, giving us a glimpse into a world that once thrived but was almost forgotten by time. History connects us to our roots, and discovering the ancient Mayan city of Valeriana reminds us how easily the past can fade. And that is what makes the recent restoration of Notre Dame so much more important. As you're well aware, the iconic cathedral suffered catastrophic damage from fire on April 5th, 2019, with its roof, spire, and much of its upper structure completely destroyed. But people recognized its importance and banded together to rebuild this architectural marvel. After years of dedicated effort, Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris is ready to reopen its doors to visitors. The cathedral's roof and spire received a complete rebuild, and 3 newly installed bells in the northern belfry recently tolled for the first time since 2020, an emotional moment for the thousands of people involved in the restoration. It's not just the 2,000 plus skilled workers who meticulously worked around the clock to revive the historic landmark, it's also the numerous donors who didn't allow the Notre Dame to perish. The restoration work will continue until 2026, but the progress made so far is nothing short of amazing. The Catholic Church firmly opposes introducing any entrance fee, emphasizing that the famed cathedral should remain free and accessible to everyone, regardless of their faith, beliefs, or financial situation. Thanks to generous donations and meticulous restoration work, Notre Dame once again stands proud, inspiring millions with its timeless beauty and old age charm. But even though we sometimes pour immense effort into preserving our past, we go even further when it comes to building a safer, brighter future of our children. That's why Colombia's latest move to ban child marriage is such a monumental step forward. For years, a legal loophole allowed minors under 18 to marry with parental consent, exposing countless girls to exploitation, early pregnancies, and a lifetime of inequality. But as of November 2024, Colombia has officially closed that chapter. With a decisive new law, child marriage is now banned without exceptions, aligning the country with global human rights standards. This victory wasn't handed down easily. It's the result of nearly 2 decades of tireless advocacy by civil rights groups and organizations like Girls Not Brides. Advocates pushed back against cultural norms and legal loopholes that have historically left girls vulnerable, especially in rural, indigenous, and Afro-Colombian communities. The impact of this law goes far beyond legislation. It protects girls' rights to education, safety, and self-determination. It's paving the way for them to pursue their dreams instead of being forced into adult responsibilities far too soon. Colombia now joins a growing list of nations saying loud and clear that childhood should be about growth and learning, not marriage and sacrifice. This historic decision is proof that when people fight for change, they can reshape the future for generations to come. Be sure to let me know which story you like the most, because that helps us bring you only the best stories. And if you want to catch up on similar events, definitely check out our monthly dose of good news for November. As always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.